for something a little different. It is Friday after all. An unforgettable experience, the best in the country, and, quote, a culinary adventure. If these Google reviews are anything to go by, then the living room at the Summerhill Guest Estate in Pinetown, KwaZulu-Natal, should definitely be next on your list of restaurants to dine at. It's just been named Eat Out's Restaurant of the Year. Using ingredients that showcase the diversity of KZN, the living room is a fine dining garden-to-plate experience not to be missed. Let's hear now from the head chef, Johannes Richter, as well as Abigail, Donnelly, the chief judge for the Eat Out Awards. Thank you so much for your time. Johannes, I'm going to start with you because if you have to go, I know dinner service is about to start. If you have to go, then you have our permission. Thank you both for your time this evening, all three of you, because I do believe you are a team there at the living room, not just the two of you, but of course also your team behind the scenes. Johannes, your reaction to Summerhill being named Restaurant of the Year just earlier this week?
I mean, look, first of all, thank you for having us. We never obviously doubted what we do. I think, the platform that we try and give Durban, a sense of locality and also in a sense of culture, we've always believed in, always thought, that that's the way forward and that's what we need to endorse, and that's always been our passion. But I think we were definitely caught a little bit off guard. We thought that maybe 2-3 years we'd still have to, put in a lot of hard work to be where we are now. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. Abigail, let me bring you in here. It must have been, it seemed from the photos and the visuals that I saw from the Eat Out Awards this year, that a bit of a cathartic experience after the 2 years that not just the world has been through, but one that was very, very hard, especially for the restaurant industry to have gotten through, that this year's in-person awards was a party for various reasons. What was that like?
It was incredibly special, and Johannes and Joe there can testify to that. To get all the chefs together in one room was our mission. It wasn't only for obviously the awards was the thing, but to see the camaraderie and just the guys haven't seen each other, they haven't been able to travel much around the country, and it was just a beautiful thing to celebrate with our client Woolworths and all the chefs. And then again, obviously too, and I'm sure we'll touch on that a little bit, but to celebrate a brand new Eat Out Awards where we celebrate 3-star restaurants, 2 and 1, and it's not a ranking anymore.
Indeed, there was a lot of love that was poured out on social media for the winners of Restaurant of the Year, and I would think from an unfashionable food part of the world. We have had a couple of our top restaurants come from the KZN area, the Midlands especially, and that kind of thing. But normally it will come from one of the beautiful winelands in Cape Town. We've got 1 or 2 competitors a year in Johannesburg. Mosaic, that used to be in Pretoria, was always up there as well. What was the thing, the unique selling point, I believe is an overused phrase, for Summerhill that really tipped the scales in their direction?
You use the word unique. It is unique. It's a sense of place on the plate as well. And it's just the sincerity of the food. It's an emotional dining experience. I mean, look at these pictures. The hero of the plate is celebrated. And there's some beautiful stuff to match, and of course the beautiful wine pairing, and the beautiful staff and the smiling staff, and you just felt sincerity everywhere around you, and and that was the key point. When you know that some food makes you emotional, I know then that it's a winner, and not only the sustainability part and the fermentation and it's just unique, it's a comfy dining room. It's a home dining room. It's a very simple kitchen. But yeah, I mean, some of those dishes were just probably the best that I've eaten this year. That duck,
now, as you speak about how unique it was and I suppose, special and intimate, I think probably is the word to use, even though I've never eaten there, hint, hint. Johannes, allow me to bring Johanna, your wife, in. And from my sneaking around, I've read up that, Johannes, you and your wife met while you were working in a kitchen at Wine Bar Ritz, a 3 Michelin star restaurant. And Johanna, you were a waitress at the time. It seems that your relationship has gone through quite some journey physically. But that journey is fueled where you find yourself in food right now, and that now comes out on the plate. Johanna, if you can put into words what you believe you put on a plate that is really connected with people in such a real way.
I think for us it was very important that when you go in a restaurant that you feel like you're in a friend's place and that you're at home and that you feel comfortable, because in many restaurants it takes you 2-3 glasses of wine and 2-3 courses until you can relax, until you can arrive. And I think that's something very different here. As soon as you come in, as soon as you come up the driveway, you have the feeling you're not in Durban, you're somewhere else, and then gives you the feeling you're much further away than you actually are. But then it's homely, it's warm, it's welcoming, it's just such a beautiful, special place.
Johannes, why was that important for you? I mean, you could have stayed in Europe working in the best Michelin stars in the world, and you've taken that training and you obviously use that technique and pour it into your food. But it seems for both of you, the experience and being based where you are in KZN and at the tip of Africa, it was important for that to be reflected in the entire dining experience.
Look, I mean, even though on paper I'm not South African, I'm a Durbanite at heart, and really, really proud of that as well as being South African, obviously. And I had such a beautiful childhood here, and even though at some stage, the decision was made to leave and do a formal training abroad, the idea was always to come back and also to give back and also to try and create something unique that embodies not just certain cultural elements of Durban, but really, the city as a whole, us as a whole. And that was always the goal. And we've been working at it now for 6 years, and it's been a bumpy ride. Especially the beginning was quite tough, and it took a little bit to get the ball rolling. But we're obviously overwhelmed at where we are now, and also that it's a little bit further away from Cape Town. I think just makes it so much more special, for us to have that journey.
Okay, Johannes and Johanna, I'm going to let you go and focus on dinner service, because I know with chefs, perfection every night is what it calls for. You can't drop the ball. Thank you so much for your time this evening. Yeah. Hopefully we'll meet each other soon. Abigail, allow me just to wrap up with you very quickly. Trends are a big thing. But none of us have been left untouched by the last 2-3 years that we've been through in terms of the pandemic. No industry has been left untouched. Now, in the restaurant world, we saw trends moving towards harvest tables. Then it was cooking on open fire, and that became the thing. Are you seeing a new trend now that has perhaps been affected by what we've been through as a people that loves their food, loves going out, now loves also cooking at home as well? What are you seeing as a golden thread in our restaurants as we head into a new year?
Yeah, so Marcel, usually, when I've judged for many years, I pick out trends immediately, but it's a recovery process. So chefs are really trying, they haven't traveled, as I said before, but they really are trying to just stay focused on what their philosophy is and delivering that philosophy to the customer and to their teams. So I've seen a little bit that's come through from previous years. It's just really good, beautiful cooking that I've seen, and that's the most important, is delivering the flavor and the technique and the training. And so the trends itself, I can't really put. There's been a lot of petrels. There's a lot of fermentation, which is amazing, which is pure and fresher and more healthier. But I would say, I think the biggest thing is smaller menus, and I'd like to see a little bit more of that. I mean, that helps with sustainability and waste without taking away. I'm not saying to the chefs that do the 12 courses, never change that philosophy, just cook your heart out.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much. As you can tell, I could talk about this for hours, but we don't have the time. That's the head chef of Summerhill Guest, the living room at the Summerhill Guest Estate in Pinetown in KZN, the restaurant of the year in South Africa, and of course, the chief judge of the judging panel for the Eat Out Awards, Abigail Donnelly, joining us there from Cape Town. I need to find out how to get a gig on this panel. I mean, my friends say I'm judgy and I'm obsessed with food. Surely that qualifies me, but that's a conversation for another day.